Hi there. In this session, we're just going to have a brief overview about creating your business plan. This presentation is for UK Coach Training. My name is Katie Bowen, and I'm delighted that you're with me just to have a chat about creating your business plan. Now, before we get started, for the perfectionists amongst you, I just want to say when you create this plan, I want you to think about your business ideas, how you want to work, what it's going to look like in an ideal world, and try not to be a perfectionist about it. Just try and create imagine it's your first stage plan. And then as you go through building your business or you work with a coach in the future, you can hone in on different sections of the plan and add a bit more detail or refine what you create. But the key thing in this section is just to get started. So why is writing a business plan so important? Customers are obviously at the heart of everything you do. And when you're talking about marketing and selling for your business, you need to be able to articulate what are your unique selling points and how will you promote your business and who is directly or indirectly in contact with your ideal customers, and how are you going to calculate your pricing? What are your terms and conditions? What strategic alliances could you give you greater access to your market? And think about the planning and the strategy and where your sales are going to come from and how you're going to make sure that you build loyal customers and how are you going to communicate what you do and the opportunities that your business has got. There is so much to think about, but by writing a business plan from the very off, you are setting yourself up for success and ensuring that you're going to have a prosperous business. Now, the first thing I would encourage you to do is what we call a SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And when you're writing a business plan, to get your strategy in place, it's really important that you recognize what these different areas are so that you can avoid the threats. You can have a plan to overcome them, like taking on a virtual assistant to help you with things that you would struggle with. You can really capitalize on opportunities by being aware of your weaknesses. You can reduce the impact on your business. And by identifying your real, true strengths, your natural abilities, then you can really build on them and enhance them into how you offer and market your business. For an example, sometimes we can be really tempted to copy somebody who's gone down the path before us. And let's just say that person has a podcast, but the last thing you're really confident about is talking to people and interviewing people and being put on the spot and knowing what to say. You're a plan it and do it person. So using a podcast wouldn't be the best way for you to market your business. So by identifying your strengths, you will use the right marketing techniques. And when you're writing a business plan, I would really encourage you to do your market research. So many coaches I work with um, forget to get the facts and figures about what their market size is, where they live, whether it's static or declining, whether it's expanding market, whether like me in Cornwall, you're impacted by seasonal businesses, and not to make sure you look for trends and issues and barriers against you getting customers. Now, I didn't do any of this because I work online. And so I didn't look at my customer demographics, but actually, it's really important to do that. Even if you work online, because you also want to build a business where you live. For instance, you might not want to travel, or you might want to build a brand locally where you are. So do your market research, have a look at your competitors, even think about your competitors as maybe people who you might collaborate with in the future. And in doing that, that will enable you to ask things about, what do you charge? How did you come up with what you charge? Those kind of things that we wouldn't do if it was a competitor, but it's easy to do if it's someone that we're thinking about collaborating with in the future. And literally what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to bid for bigger contracts. I'm going to be taking on some associates to work with me. How much do you charge so that I know how much I'm charging the corporate company to cover your costs as well as my own. And don't be afraid to do questionnaires and surveys to local businesses to see what their training needs are, to see what at what coaching needs they've got, or if you've got a business doing something else, what your clients are going to need. Because the more facts you've got when you're writing your business plan, the more success you're going to have with your business from day one. And then writing a business plan, think about your operations. How will you be trading? What are the costs involved? And what have you already invested in? And what further investment is required? Imagine that you have to go to the bank and see the bank manager and borrow some money for your business. You really want to write your business plan, regardless of whether you're borrowing money or not, so that it stands up on its own 2 feet and so that you can really demonstrate how it's going to make money and who you're going to trade with. And then think about what systems are you going to put in place from day one for managing your accounting, your information, your quality control. Who are you going to get to support you? An accountant, a solicitor? What other services do you need? And what are they going to cost? So really thinking about everything you need in your operating costs. And then when you're writing your business plan, I also want you to think about your policies. So what paperwork do you need to put in place before you start? So if you're a coach, it might be things like your discovery document, your client agreement, your code of ethics. Have you considered your legal requirements, your insurance, any licenses or permissions you need? Have you considered how you're going to pay your tax and national insurance? How you're going to put money aside, your business bank account? Have you considered what you're going to do if it doesn't all work and what your exit strategy might be? And how will you pay back any loans if your business is unsuccessful? So by thinking about all the legal requirements, how you're going to be transparent, how you're going to demonstrate that you comply with ethics, all those kind of requirements that will really get you to set up your business with a business mindset. So really becoming the CEO of your business rather than the person in the business doing the work. And then I want you to think about your cash flow. Now, when you're writing a cash flow document, it all seems a bit hairy-fairy, really, because you don't really know what you're going to charge. You don't really know what you're going to earn. You don't really know what your expenses are even going to be. But your cash flow is the estimate of the timing and amount of cash inflowing and outflowing over the year. It's a mirror, if you like, for what your future bank statements might look like. And be realistic with it, especially when starting out, as income is usually slower than you anticipate. And it's much better to underestimate than overestimate, but predict using facts. At a later date, if you work with me, I will show you the expenses that I incurred setting up my business. Think about if you're working say, for instance, you're setting up a course and you're selling it in dollars, think about the exchange rate, how that can impact your income. Think about your fees for paying Wix or whoever you deal with your credit for. Think about the payments that you get in, how often are they going to be? And if, for instance, Wix is collecting your money, how often are they going to send the money to you? I use AppSumo. They only send the money that they get in once a month. So just thinking about your income, when is it coming in? When are your bills going out? And in order to really help yourself, it's worth getting a business bank account. I know that you can operate your business from your personal account, but it doesn't help you with your accountant. It certainly doesn't help you plan and cost your business. And by using a business bank account, which by the way, you can get free, not all business accounts charge you, then it enables you to keep everything separate and it helps you with your cash flow management. And then financial forecasting, anticipate your revenue, your income. So what kind of thing do you think is going to bring in income? And if you're struggling, if you have an income coming in for the new business that you're setting up and you think that there's not going to be enough in the first year, what could you potentially do using your existing skills or your previous job, perhaps working 1 or 2 days a week still in the environment that you come from in order to enhance your income and enable you to make a profit in the first year. And remembering as well that whatever income you get, you have to pay, always put away 25% to cover your tax and national insurance. And even think about things like you don't get holiday pay, you don't get sickness pay. So what is your survival budget? What do you need to have every week in order to cover your bills? And if you are taking on staff, think about the wages if you're going to have to pay them. What do you need to break even? And remember those seasonal trends while you're doing that. And then I want you to think about as I said about if you were going to apply for a grant or if you were going to borrow money, what's your supporting evidence? It's really worth bringing it together when you're creating your plan and thinking about your certificates, your regulatory requirements, your contracts, thinking about if you were going to submit a contract for a supplier, have you got orders, have you got the equipment and resources ready? And have you got your market research findings together with your business plan so that if you do need to borrow money for your business, it's all in place. But more importantly, so that you know that your business is going to turn a profit. So many coaches I work with just start coaching, think of a figure to charge, and haven't even thought about running their business as a actual business company organization. And if you start this way around, this is going to give you a head start ahead of others. And just want to cover up some monumental marketing mistakes and how to avoid them. So often I see people who want to reinvent the wheel. The wheel is tried and tested. Everybody has got, there are plenty of variations of it, but marketing works by investing in yourself, being willing to pay for advertising, being willing to promote your business. It doesn't work by silently going behind the scenes, creating all these wonderful coaching packages, and then nobody knows you exist. It doesn't work either by plowing your fortune into an unproven product. So if you do create a coaching package or any a course product or anything like that, test it first. Don't put all the work into building it until you know it's going to sell. And don't fall into the trap that I did, believing that if you build it, they will come. Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner, I was there. I'm going to create this fantastic coaching package and course put together, and they're all going to come in their droves. It doesn't happen. That was my first flop. Copying your competitors doesn't work either because your competitors may have different strengths to what you have. So not having a niche doesn't work either. Now, I have 4 different niches, and I was very much of the mindset that you don't need to create a niche. But if you're of that mindset too, you have to be really mindful of that when it comes to marketing mistakes. So if you check out my video on YouTube about choosing a niche and make the decision for yourself. Another favorite of new business entrepreneurs is over preparing and actually ending up doing nothing. So, whatever you do when you start your business, make sure you are connecting with your potential customers from day one. The other thing that a lot of entrepreneurs, doesn't matter what business they're in, can be really poor at is not following up on leads. So you invite people to subscribe to your website, they subscribe, and then you do nothing with it. You don't engage with them, you don't have any connection with them. And that can really turn customers off. So from day one, have a strategy, have a funnel for following up on your leads and looking after them and really nurturing people. And if you're a bit like me and you have a restless saboteur and you easily get bored, really focus on not jumping from one thing to the next. Give things time to work. Everything takes time. And keep your focus on looking after your current customers and previous customers, as well as getting new customers. And don't just rely on networking to generate sales leads. Make sure that you have targeted advertising and you're targeting a market you can reach or that can afford you. So many coaches set up for coaching for people who are really struggling, who cannot afford coaching and who they can't reach because they haven't experienced the life that those people have got. So just be mindful when you are setting up your business that your target market is someone that can afford what you do and is also somebody that is accessible and you completely get them. You know them inside out so that all of your marketing speaks directly to them. So that's a really brief overview of creating your business plan. Obviously, I could go into a lot more detail and I don't want to take up any more of your time today, but I hope that really helps you. Okay, good luck with your plan.